Okay, so we are now ready to create a new project, which is going to be our time tracker app. So this window over here is Android Studio, and we can see that we have an option to start a new Flutter project. So we are going to do that, and we are presented with a template. So here we have a few options depending on what type of project we want to create. For now, we're just happy with the default Flutter application option here, so we're going to tap Next. Here we get to choose the project name for our application. So in this case, I'm going to call it Time Tracker Flutter Course. And I recommend that you use exactly this name so that there are no differences between your code and mine as we make progress. The other options are the Flutter SDK path, which we had configured when we installed Flutter, and also a folder where this project will be saved. So we're going to tap Next. And then we get the option to choose the company name for our project. So here the IDE is showing codingwithflutter.com as the company domain, and this is my website for learning Flutter. Obviously, you could choose a different company domain if you wanted to. As you can see, there is also a package name here, which is generated by the IDE, and that will be created using the company domain that you have provided, as well as the project name that we have set up in the previous step. Now, this package name is something that we'll get back to when we will configure our project to run with Firebase. But I will show you where to find your package name later in case you forget it. So for now, don't worry about it and just choose anything you want. Down here, we have two options to choose the platform channel language. So here we are presented with an option to choose Kotlin for Android and Swift for iOS. This refers to the language that is used when creating the Android and iOS host applications. So if you remember, on the introduction to this course, I mentioned that Flutter projects are always compiled into native code. What that means is that every time you create a Flutter project, it will also generate projects for native iOS and Android. These options are here so that you can choose whether the iOS and Android projects will be set up with Kotlin and Swift as their default programming language. In any case, we don't need to worry about this for now, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave the default options enabled. But just to be aware, these will be the languages that you would be using if you were to write native platforms code for your Flutter apps. Okay, so we are now ready to complete the setup, and we can tap on Finish. And this is now going to create our project. So it will create the project and set it up so that we can run our application. Just so you know, this follows the same steps that would be performed if we did create the project from the command line. So there is no magic here. Okay, so now our project has been created, and in the next video we'll take a look around at the project so that we can get familiar with how a Flutter project is structured and organized.